Welcome to the Inside Texas YouTube channel, powered by Inside Texas. Thursday morning live, Justin and Ian, as always, with me. Before we get into it and talk about kind of one of the last position battles that we're really looking out for on the Texas roster, make sure to head over to Inside Texas and checking out our awesome fall camp sale. Man, guys, fall camp is nearing its end, and I'm glad to be able to say it, especially with what's going on without football in our college football world. But right now, you can still get 75% off as a new member. Make sure you're checking that out, going and seeing everything that we got going on at IT. And of course, Paul Wadlington's book, Thinking Texas Football, the 2026 Longhorn Football Prospectus. Awesome book, and awesome preview on the 2026 Texas Longhorns. Make sure you're checking that out. Justin, Ian, you guys doing well this morning?
I'm here, brother.
It's like that every time with you, Justin. You're just around until we're 15 minutes in. Someone brings up an old East Texas player, and you're off the rails.
Well, it's just I'm not a morning person. It's just it doesn't work that way. I hit my groove right before lunch, so just not a morning person. But you know what? It's always a great morning at Inside Texas, and it's always a wonderful opportunity to hang out with you two knuckleheads. So let's talk about how LSU is single-handedly trying to destroy college athletics.
I think we're going to need more eyeballs into the crowd for that one. Let's talk about some tight ends, shall we, Ian?
Yep.
All right. I'm
I've
going
already
to
got
start.
Ian tempted too.
We're going to start.
We're going to tilt this joker.
Before I kind of spoil the lead and what your point is, tell the fans, tell everyone who's watching right now, what you think the primary factor is going to be for deciding this tight end one on the Steve Sarkisian offense.
It should be who can block.
Boom.
I think,
who can block the tight end or defensive end in particular?
Well, hey, listen, that's not an assumption like it used to be. 20 years ago, the tight end could always block the defensive end. In this era, that's not the case.
Yeah, the defensive ends have gotten harder to block, and the tight ends have gotten
More skilled.
less blocking oriented.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. And
I want to say like 90% of offensive plays, you know what the tight end is doing in any offense?
blocking. Yeah. It's really become more prevalent in the NFL now. I mean, I feel like 3 years ago we were talking about that revolution of these smaller tight ends getting more playing time, and now we're back to we want every second round tight end pick to be 270 pounds. I mean, Melvin Ostrom from A&M got way overdrafted as a result of can you block Will Anderson if you're in the AFC South Division, and that's kind of where we lead into this article. And speaking of tight ends, Steelers legend Riley Nowakowski is who gets the shout out from you, Ian. 6-year tight end, and it was pretty clear when you were watching Indiana last year that his ability to block off the edge was so important to their run game and just in general their offense.
Yeah, it's just the undertold story of 25 and the undertold story of Indiana in 26 is that they had this tight end, Riley Nowakowski, who was a 6th-year dude. It was like a former walk-on from Wisconsin or something. He could base block defensive ends. He played a little off the ball so he could get a running start. So he was kind of like a fullback. But he could, from that alignment, he could base block defensive ends consistently.
Yeah. Orville Reese right there, I believe.
Which means you get a double team on the defensive tackle, which means you can run the ball inside on duo, which means if you can run the ball inside consistently on duo, then you can attach RPOs to all your runs and you have inside-outside stress. If you can attach RPOs to all of your runs, you can have Fernando Mendoza throwing one-on-one balls to one of the best receiving corps in college football. So this was all downhill from that. They also threw him the ball every now and then, and he was pretty darn athletic. But
they got him in the flat a lot.
Yeah, people have no idea how essential Nowakowski was to Indiana's offense last year. They got to replace him with all the guys replacing him this year are redshirt freshmen.
Yeah, man, and you've talked about that. I remember when we were talking about some of those title contenders going into the year. Like, what's your reservation with Indiana? And I don't think a lot of people would have cared enough to say a tight end is what makes or breaks a team like this. But Josh Hoover replacing Mendoza is one thing, but having a tight end that can replicate a 6-year success from a redshirt freshman it's a pretty big ask.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know about it. And then they have Hoover too, which is a little iffier.
Why is Hoover iffier
than Mendoza?
I just don't know Mendoza. Then just so you're comparing him to Mendoza. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Hoover fan. I've seen that kid throw the ball a long time, and he has tools that Fernando doesn't.
I'm a little iffy on his decision making in general.
I'm with you 100%.
I think that Cignetti is going to pare down his menu probably
early on,
and rein it in a bit. So I won't be shocked if he does well. Curtis Rourke was kind of amazing in year 1 with Indiana.
Right.
So when they brought in Mendoza and I watched Mendoza, I was like, he's going to be just fine because Cignetti builds really good designs for these quarterbacks. But a big key to him doing so was having this tight end that made their run game work really well. So tight end's essential. Blocking is essential in college. Everybody always looks at college tight ends and they evaluate them like NFL tight ends. Can they run routes like Travis Kelce? Are they big-time receiving threats? And that's not how college offenses work. Because if you want to throw to your tight end like he's Anthony Gonzalez or Gronkowski, that means you got to be in drop-back pass plays a lot where the quarterback is reading through progressions. And people don't do that very much in college football. You run the ball, you throw on play action, and you throw on RPOs, and you throw on screens. And none of those involve a lot of 1, 2, 3 reads. And also on all of those designs, the tight end has to be a good blocker for it to work. So it's just it's really a different position than it had been in the NFL for a minute. But people don't think of it that way. And people don't evaluate college offenses based on the blocking ability of the tight end. The only time people talk about tight ends in college football is when they're like, they've got this guy. If you watch his huddle, it's amazing. He's such a good receiver. And then you watch his huddle and the kid's lined up at receiver for like the whole game.
Kyle Pitts.
Kenyon Sadiq.
Although Kyle Pitts in Florida definitely made it work.
Yeah,
as a receiver in the top 5.
He's the freak of nature. But that's when you talk about tight ends, when you get those freakish level players.
Trey Green at LSU.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. He's good. I don't know if I call him freakish, but he's good.
Trey blocks though is part of what.
Yeah, he does.
That's part of what makes it work. Yeah. So the first question I ask for any team and their tight end and their structure is, can their tight end block a defensive end? Because if he can, it opens up an enormous world of possibilities for how many different runs you can do, how you can protect your quarterback on play action, how you can do RPOs, and just that's number one. Not everybody asks their tight end to do that. Some guys just forego that. They're like, our tight end's not going to block a defensive end. We're not going to ask him to. We're going to design around it. But that's an enormous foundational starting point.
Yeah. And so, Steve Sarkisian, we've gotten a chance to look at how he's utilized his tight ends, and it feels like really the only one who could do both the blocking and the pass catching at a high level is Gunnar Helm, who I think ended up being the most productive statistically of all these tight ends because of what you explained in this article, how he was able to marry is the idea that he can be a threat as a blocker, but also as a receiver and kind of slip through. I mean, Jatavian Sanders, they would use those heavy Andre Karich packages. Juan Davis was there for Helm's time. And then Spencer Shannon was the number 2 with Jack Endries last year. And Endries wasn't the best blocker, but I think it was kind of more issues with the offense why he wasn't as productive. But, what was the best for you, in your opinion, tight end room? And what was most ideal when Sark was running his offenses with tight ends as a blocker?
Well, statistically, Gunnar Helm was the best tight end. It's not even really that close. Look at his touchdowns. 7 touchdowns to it took Jatavian Sanders 2 years to get 7 touchdown catches.
I will say Jatavian Sanders did make bigger plays.
Well, he averaged fewer yards per target, Justin.
I know.
So he apparently didn't.
And I would you like to go back into the gallery and talk about what Jatavian Sanders, the big plays he made? I have this feeling you forget Tuscaloosa, probably. You forgot the second half, probably. Jatavian Sanders had incredibly big games when he did shine. Gunner was the better tight end statistically, not arguing that. Gunner was the more consistent guy, not arguing that. Jatavian Sanders made the bigger plays.
Gunnar Helm scored the winning touchdown in the playoff quarterfinal against Arizona State, I believe. He was the leading receiver.
That was Matthew Golden.
He was the first overtime touchdown.
Yeah, Matthew Golden caught the game-winning touchdown against Arizona State in the Peach Bowl.
I thought it was the Helm one that was the winner. I thought the Golden 4th and 15 was a first overtime.
You remember how Helm they cut the broadcast off and he was suddenly in the end zone? That was the first play of overtime, and then they go Arizona State scores, and then Texas needs to come back.
I don't think y'all are right. I'm going to look it up.
Were you there, Evan? Because I was.
I was not. I was screaming in my friend's house.
The game-winning touchdown.
I love looking at these guys from the back, from the rearview mirror. I really do.
I think Ian might be correct, Justin. He looks happy to share.
Well, no, that's good. That's good. That's what we have this for.
Gunnar Helm scored on. No, sorry. Matthew Golden hit the 4th and 15 or whatever it was in the first overtime. Texas gets the ball again, immediately scores again on the leak play to Gunnar Helm. Helm scored the winning touchdown.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man,
I would say that Matthew Golden catch was a lot bigger, but I don't think you want to argue that.
That's fine. But Gunnar Helm made big plays.
He did. Right. He made big plays. I just feel like you forget Jatavian Sanders about once a month would make an incredible play that pulled Texas out of a drive in the third, fourth quarter. And you're like, okay, there's the 5-star athlete we've been looking for 3 years. I remember having that conversation his entire junior year. Oh, there's the 5-star.
And yet, Gunnar Helm was a better player.
Pound for pound.
Because he blocked. And also,
yeah, Jatavian never blocked.
Here's the other thing. Jatavian Sanders had a lot of wow catches.
Yeah,
Gunnar Helm had a couple too, but a lot of times Gunnar Helm didn't have wow catches because he was freaking wide open.
Yeah,
because
I remember Michigan and Oklahoma
hit him in stride.
Quinn, they had an awesome partnership.
They had a real good connection. You're right.
This is the same league play they beat Arizona
A&M with.
They threw it to. This was the year prior in Ames.
Oh, this is Iowa State.
Yeah, this is in 2020.
And wasn't that a similar play to how Endries got open, Ian, against A&M? Or did he start from the same side?
That's a good question.
I'm forgetting which side he started off the top of my head, but it was kind of the same idea where he just kind of pitter-patters past the defense. He's wide open, and then you're just running free towards the pylon.
I can't remember, and I actually watched it recently, but I still can't remember.
Ian, David Williams just brought up a point. I just got to mention. I didn't realize Jatavian Sanders was an All-American.
Really?
And Gunnar,
you know why he was underutilized?
He wasn't. What is going on?
Well, he wasn't really underutilized. They actually threw him the ball.
I'm lost, Ian. I need correction.
Brock Bowers was definitely first team that year.
I didn't know. I don't remember Jatavian being an All-American, but I'm not denying it. I'm just teasing Ian.
I don't remember.
Honestly. I don't either. I like to see him get on the field for Carolina.
I actually don't pay that much attention to All-Americans for whatever reason.
Unless it's Lawrence Seymour.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you don't pay that much attention to All-Americans. Jatavian Sanders, this is my point. Jatavian Sanders was flashy. He was super athletic. He was very effective at Texas. But Then this other guy comes along who blocks better and can still catch, and then he has a bigger statistical season. And that's
and on a better team.
I don't know.
2023 offense versus 2024?
23 and 24 is better than 22, I would think.
Yeah, but he was on 23.
Sanders was on 23.
Right.
So I think 23 Sanders probably had as good, if not better.
They split? If didn't Helm have to wait though? Wasn't Jatavian getting the majority of those reps?
Yeah, but Sanders was the one in 23. Helm was the one in 24, and similar, if not a better offense for 23. But either way, Helm had a better statistical year.
Yeah. But here's the biggest question: who's the best blocker now? Like, honest to God, I love Jatavian Sanders and Gunnar Helm. I do. Who's the best blocker and tight end right now?
That's the right question.
In college or on this, or in the NFL or on this team? Because if we're talking about on this team, we're going to talk about it right after we hear from our sponsor, Academy Sports and Outdoors.
It's going to be hard.
Turn everyday spending into more fun. Earn unlimited 2% in rewards when you spend outside Academy. My Academy Rewards MasterCard, the official card of fun.
Well, that's a little bit of sarcasm to the Daily Texan, the institution at the University of Texas. What's up, CB?
Daily Texans have All-American rosters?
No, we never did an All-American roster. But I mean, it is also, Gunnar Helm in year one last year was a more important part of his offense than Sanders has ever been at Carolina. Where
Sanders is a non-factor in the
yeah.
NFL.
He might not even be their number 3 because he just can't block. And Helm pushed. Helm, that's also true. Helm pushed Chigokonkwo out, and Okonkwo was kind of the idea of big athlete, but not really much of a blocker coming out of, I think, Maryland. So
Tennessee's a hole gunner. They know what they have. They've got Bo Scaife 2.0. They know.
All right, Ian, let's talk about this current roster.
I want to know who can block on this team.
We're getting there, Justin. Jesus, let the man speak.
They actually are all decent blockers. Except it doesn't sound like Amari Winston does that much blocking, which is kind of surprising because I thought he looked pretty game for it in high school.
He's more athlete.
Yeah.
He's an old school H-back.
He needs to figure that out because he'll get on the field and have an awesome year if he'll just learn to, if he can just, for Texas, if you can block the backside defensive end on outside zone without embarrassing yourself, you can play a lot. So you're like working back across the formation and then just screening that guy. They don't even need him to be like Indiana needs their guy to like base block out a defensive end at the point of attack on duo. That's a lot harder. Texas will do that if their guy can. And I think Shannon and Masunis can against some teams, probably not against all. But if you can just seal the backside on outside zone, you will get so many more snaps in this offense than if you can't. But yeah, Shannon is actually solid, just base blocking a guy right across from him, even in line. And Masunis is also good at that, and that's why he came over from Michigan State. So you got those guys. Definitely when they're in 12 and they want an inline blocker, Shannon and Masunis can do that. I think Masunis is better than Shannon at it. They're both solid. Off the ball, Townsend has been pretty good at Texas. He was pretty good as a freshman. He hit really hard doing that. He didn't always hit the right guy or anyone if he didn't know what to do. But to me, the battle comes down to, by the end of the year, Shannon knew how to do a lot of different blocks. He could block off the ball. He knew how to flare out on screens and find defensive backs to hit on those. He can block in line. Very, very versatile blocker as he got stronger and stronger in the program. Townsend is probably not going to be at that same level. We haven't seen him in line. He hasn't really been working there in the spring or the fall because they don't really need him to because they have Masunis and Shannon. So then the question becomes, is Townsend a versatile enough blocker to where his receiving upside makes him the guy you should play when you're in 11? Or is Shannon's overall versatility just more of a force multiplier, that you just want that guy on the field more. I think it's going to be Shannon, but I'm not sure because Sark does love to throw.
You're right, Ian. I think it's going to be Shannon because, you mentioned this. I think you teased about this last year. It felt like 12 personnel was Sark trying to display the Spencer Shannon breakout game. When in essence, when they went to 11, it's like, let's just throw it to Ryan Wingo and kind of let him do his thing. And so I feel like that's going to be the emphasis. There's going to be so many toys. There's so many offensive weapons. That extra blocker, to me, is going to be the key.
That's it. Because you have Raleek Brown. They're going to bring in Niblett every now and then. You got, you want to run it with Smothers. Arch can run. You got all these crazy gifted receivers. They're at least 4 of them are going to play a ton and get targeted on designs. So then the tight end is going to spend an enormous amount of his time executing a really wide variety of blocks and distraction routes to set all those other guys up so they can eat.
Yep.
So then who's going to be the most reliable guy when it's Wingo's time to get the ball, when it's Raleek Brown's time to get the ball? And then the answer is probably Shannon, not sophomore Nick Townsend.
And I think this gives Townsend this next sophomore season to get that physicality. Hey, look, this is kind of what we need from you. You flashed as an athlete last year, and that was tremendous. And they're going to use that athleticism because what he can do at tight end athletically is different than others. But this season gives him a year to watch Masunas and Shannon and go, we know you can catch the ball. We know you're athletic, but this is the other part of the game you've got to pick up. This is the other part of the game to make you a complete tight end so that we can talk to you in the same breath as we talk about Jatavian Sanders and Gunnar Helm in that stretch. These 2 tight ends with Shannon Masunas may give Townsend that opportunity to catch up as a blocker. And then next season, Townsend is your preseason guy.
Yep. Also, he could still play a lot in 12.
I don't like 12.
They're going to do it.
I know. I've just watched so many. I've watched Arch in 11, and it looks like heaven. 12 doesn't
keeps
work.
spitting.
12 is like fitting squares into triangle pegs and stuff. I know.
I'm going to show a PFF tab, which I know is not super ideal when talking about blocking, but this is just what stands out to me in the run blocking. It's Townsend, Ian, has such a giant difference. I mean, elite zone run blocking grades on smaller snap count, and then just terrible against gap. If you can see that, I'm going to try to zoom in on it. But kind of pedestrian numbers for everyone in the run block. Don't regard Jordan Washington, but this is claiming that Townsend's significantly better as a zone blocker than a gap blocker. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's because on the gap blocking schemes, he didn't know who to hit a bunch of times. And those will really drag your grade down if you hit the wrong person and you let somebody else make a tackle for loss.
Townsend was violent, but
we got to pour one out real quick for Jordan Washington. Was supposed to be the guy that was going to make, because Arch Manning, his uncles, especially Peyton, really worked a lot with the tight end. Like the tight end was essential in Peyton's offense. And the tight end was like the total linchpin of the Isidore Newman offense, Will Randall. Arch has been well trained, and he knows how to use the tight end to manipulate defense and like find your matchups. And then they didn't give him a tight end his first year, which sucked. It really sucked how much of a waste of Manning's first year it was that they didn't have a good NFL caliber tight end on the roster. And it was supposed to be Jordan Washington, and it wasn't. So.
He got too big. Where is Jordan Washington?
UNC. He's playing first game of the year, fighting Bill Belichick's. I'm not sure he's going to start, though.
Up at Chapel Bill. Okay.
Chapel Bill.
I don't know if they're going to have the guy in this year either, but.
Listen, if Washington trims back down to his – he got too big. Washington got too big. He needed to slim back down to kind of where he was freshman year, senior year in high school. That was the strength of him because of that athleticism in basketball, how it translated. But Jordan got too big, guys.
Yep. I'm seeing on a Too Deep website that's tight end 4 for Jordan Washington. We'll see how that actually
What's
looks.
his size on there? What do they have his measurements?
They have him listed at 6'4", 265, which seems a little.
Just supersize the next 3 meals and go to tackle.
Yeah, they have a Colorado State transfer currently tabbed in, but they have 4 different transfer options. We'll see if one of them emerges.
Can we pull up that Bobby Petronic?
Yeah. Catnip or Dan Buckner?
This one. Is Townsend Dan Buckner if he never takes to blocking? Let me be
no, Dan Buckner was a receiver.
Let me clarify something real quick. Townsend is a very willing blocker, and he's very good at it when he hits the right guy. The problem is not so much is Townsend physical enough or is he like a willing blocker? It's just, has he learned all the different kinds of blocks he has to make yet?
Right. He was your typical freshman, Ian.
Yeah. He had one play where he I think it was against San Jose State, where they brought him across on a split outside zone play and he cracked a dude. And he's up for it. He's just got to figure it all out.
Yep. All right.
I love an old Dan Buckner reference, man. Good job, Bobby. I'm a big fan. I loved Dan Buckner. Just need to stay out of Brazos County.
All right. Well, let's talk about 11 versus 12 and what the difference is for who would be playing in these. 'Cause you really, it seems like from where this is going, Ian, that Shannon probably has the best blend of just being an impactful blocker and having the ability to, if he can just catch the ball, find himself into space a lot and has the presence in the Steve Sarkisian offense. But what's different with 11 and 12? What are you looking for from the tight ends in these, and who would maybe come in as well if it was 12 personnel?
Well, they could do it. They could do almost every combination in 12, and it could make sense. They could play Masunis in line and Shannon off the ball in 12 and just be like really big, supersized. They could play Shannon in line with Townsend as the off-ball fullback guy. They could do Masunis in that role and then Townsend off the ball. They could do Masunis or Shannon in line and then Amari Winston off the ball so he could run around and catch. They could play Townsend and Winston and get extra size, but then actually just throw the ball because both of them are more athletic.
Winston's not extra size.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I said that or not, but that's not what I meant. But they could play literally every combination and just lean into the strengths of that group. But I think I think we're going to see Townsend in 12 a lot. I'll say that much.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think these blocks where he's pulling to the other side and you're getting the running game involved, where Shannon's maybe tasked with doing more of a specific down block on either an edge or trying to push out into the second level, and then Townsend can just go crack a guy on the backside. I mean, that's that's where I think that's where his athleticism can shine the most in the run game. And then 11, it's just a little part of my take on it is just who can set up everyone else better, and that's kind of your Space Force ideas. When you've got Wingo and Coleman outside, kind of similar to how Indiana was, like you don't need this crazy threat out there that's going to command a 25% target share or something like that.
Yeah.
Not this season.
Yeah,
not going to get that target share this season.
Now, if you had it, it'd be better. I'm not going to lie. If he was a good blocker and it could be Gronkowski, that's great. But that's if you have to have one or the other. Yeah. If you have to have one or the other, you want the guy who can catch, but is mostly there for blocking. That's how it works in college. Like Andrew Beck was.
That's more of a quarterback term than it is other positions because you need multiple guys at tight end. Do you have a Brock Bowers right now? No. Is Brock Williams ready to be a freshman All-American? No. But that's more of a quarterback. You know, if you have that many choices, everyone sucks. When it comes to depth at every other position, you need depth. You need as many choices as possible. In this college football era, you want to win a natty, you need all 105. You need depth. So I think that's more for quarterback.
Well, Welch, also, that's my rule for when you have an open position and you don't know who's going to fill it. It's like the more names you have to mention. But
That-
we've
that-
already seen these guys at Texas.
Yeah.
We've seen Masunas at Michigan State, and we've seen Shannon and Townsend at Texas. So it's not like we don't have to filter that much. We already know what they can and can't do because we have it on film. And I reviewed the spring before I wrote this article. I reviewed the spring game and checked in on Shannon and Masunas there too. So I don't be that worried about it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here from David McClellan, then get back more on this topic, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other college football stuff people are going to want to talk about, so we'll talk to you in a second.
Big financial decisions don't have to feel overwhelming. There's someone who can guide you every step of the way. David McClellan is a fiduciary financial advisor with Forum Financial, and he's working closely with his clients as a true financial life coach, guiding every aspect of your financial journey with expertise and care. If his name sounds familiar, that's because David was a swimmer at Texas and a member of several national championship teams. Today, he channels that same championship mindset into helping people win with their finances. David specializes in financial planning, and he's contributed numerous articles to Kiplinger on the topic of retirement tax bombs. And right now, David is offering viewers a free intro consultation to assess your financial situation. Do not miss this chance to get personalized guidance from a trusted expert. To schedule your free consult, email David at dmcclellan@forumfinancial.com, or you can call him directly at 312-933-8823. The contact info is in the description.
Even would you say that the highest ceiling, or if you heard that by the end of fall camp that Townsend had cleared himself as the best, that would probably be best case scenario for Texas? Or do you just not really care who it is as long as it's sound?
The best case scenario is probably that Townsend becomes reliable and consistent enough blocker in all the different ways they'd want to use him, that he's the starter, because he is a amazing athlete.
Yeah.
Unless that's probably your best case scenario, unless Shannon is just like really a lot more dangerous as a receiver than we think, which is, don't completely rule that out. He did have a couple catches in spring that were like pretty surprising and eye-opening. It's possible he could be like a Helm in terms of like quickness and catchability. And he at 6'7", that catch radius is pretty wild.
And what we saw from Helm was that it's not a lot of catches were actually very contested. Like as long as Shannon can just catch and turn on a lot of these schemed up shots, like that's just fine if he's able to catch the ball, turn, and move downfield.
Yeah,
we do have a return of the V-neck for Bobby Petronik.
Not a V-neck.
I know, that's why I was confused. I was like, what? He's not even worth talking about at this point.
Trying to give Ian some credit for having some style, because
Gotcha.
Ian is a substance guy. He always has been. He's a substance guy. We're trying to incorporate a little bit of style that makes Ian a dual threat.
I'm getting killed. I'm getting killed again.
That's a good one.
Ian is.
Hey, what's this next one? Is Shannon more Helm or Swaim? More Helm.
Actually, he's more Swaim.
No.
Dude.
No.
Tatted up, rugged, like gonna if you saw Gunnar Helm in an alley, he would have a glass of milk. He would be chewing bubble gum. If you saw Jeff Swaim or Spencer Shannon in an alley, you're getting your butt whooped. Like you're about to get in a fight. So I'm gonna take Swaim on this.
In terms of the skill set on the field, Swaim was such a good blocker and so nasty.
Yes.
There was talk of him playing offensive line in the NFL. And he couldn't really catch very well.
No, but he could cuss at immediate availability like a sailor, and I was there for it.
I wish they had a Swaim every year. That's exactly when I talk about underrated blocking. That guy would give you hat every snap. Shannon is more like that guy. That'd be great if he's anywhere close to that, honestly. He doesn't have to be.
Blake is right. Blake Bryant's right. Like, how the hell did that guy play that long?
Caleb Blewett is another one too. That was Blewett
Question for you, Ian, from Jackson Miles. Better tight end room OU with their reinforcements, Hansen, Beers, all those guys, or Texas's?
They were both terrible last year, and they're both a lot better this year.
Yeah.
I think OU's might be a little better. I haven't watched Hansen recently, but I remember against Texas, Hansen was a pretty good blocker, and he definitely will catch the ball. He's kind of what you're hoping Shannon is this year. And then
Beers has got some athleticism.
Beers has some athleticism. I don't think he's really a blocker. He's probably closer to the guys that they had like Kanik or. I
have to say, isn't Kanik still there?
No, he's gone.
No, he's on the Gunnar Helm led Titans. He's probably on the practice squad, but he was on the Titans.
I think Kanik is one of the guys that just lost on that ruling.
No, I don't even think he had. I think he was at 5 years.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes who playing dynasty fantasy football. You know these random guys where they're playing right now. I know where Jaron Kanik was playing because yesterday I was looking for a roster spot and it was between him and like Nate Borkacher on the Jags. I'm like, I'm not picking up Kanik. That's not going to happen.
Okay, well, you had a fantasy draft where you drafted?
No. I had a fantasy. I traded away Justin Jefferson yesterday. Got picks. Had an open roster spot, and I was like, I'm a little low on tight end. What are the tight end options? And like on the waivers, the top 5 most like rostered ones, Kanik was right there, and I'm like, there's no way he's the option. I got like the Jags 3rd string guy.
Wow.
Kanik, I can't imagine Kanik.
You must be in like a 14-team league or something.
It's a 12-team, 11-starter deep bench league.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine Kanik playing in the NFL.
No.
Remember how freakishly athletic he was in high school?
He was a really athletic receiver last year too, but anytime they put him in the box to block, it was like, if this play needs the tight end to do any better than get driven 2 yards back every play, then you can't run it. That's how bad he was.
We got a super chat from Sugar Papa Chulo. Why will OU suck?
I still don't think they're that good at outside receiver. I don't think they're that good at offensive line either. I think they're better.
Have you seen the recent depth chart game? I meant to text you about this. Have you seen what Stoyo's reporting?
I saw the Stoyo one. I don't think that's actually what's going to happen.
Okay, because Fajay at center is, and then Parker Livingston losing out to the redshirt freshman. Like, ooh.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Fasusi's a future All-American. So.
Yeah, I mean their left side's going to be good with EPL and Fasusi, and I think that right tackle was pretty good if I'm remembering correctly. But
I feel like EPL.
No, he's not. He's
been
not
in college sports for like 5 or 6 years.
No, EPL's in like 3rd year.
I know. I just feel like I remember anyone had a guy like him, and I'm like, man, that name sounds exactly. I feel like this kid's been in the league forever.
I rewatched. Okay, hold on. Singleton. Hold on. You could ask him. But I don't think Stoya – I think Stoya just kind of throws stuff out there on that depth chart prediction article he writes every year. I don't think it's like a strict this is what it's going to be. I think it's kind of like here's how I could see it going, and he'll take like a liberty here or there. And he's not trying to give you like our sources say this is what the depth chart looks like. And I don't think that's – so I – slow down on thinking that Foji's going to start at center.
Maybe it was a predictive depth chart.
Because Mikulul, he's out for extent. It might be the year.
Starting center is injured. Yeah, it was like around the same time as Gooseby, and it was a really similar. It was like a bad knee thing, but it turned out to be a more mild MCL kind of thing, where it's like probably just a few weeks.
Ian, you forgot one factor in why OU will suck this year. Quarterback.
Maybe. I feel like if they can keep him in one piece and run the ball, he's going to be a lot better.
Mateer is to Venables that swoops. was too strong.
No. He's a lot better.
Buddy. Oh, no, you're right. Swoops had a much better arm. He had much better accuracy throwing down the field. You're right. There is a difference there. But that's the comp. That's the comparison. If you're buying, I don't know why you could buy. She heard this in the other room, and she's coming to tell Dad, stop saying such crazy stuff.
Their right tackle is not very good. The guy from Arkansas, he's like big, tall, can stay in front of people, but will get driven backwards all day. He's not that good. I rewatched their playoff game against Alabama to watch their young linemen. And for all the talk about their young line and how much better it was, they got bullied by Alabama, like whenever that was, 8 months ago or something. Like, how much better are they in 8 months? Somewhat, but
didn't Oklahoma win that game?
No, the playoff game.
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry.
The playoff game, Oklahoma had to try to run Mateer like Ellinger.
Oh, yeah.
Like every other play, and they still couldn't run the ball.
They kind of Notre Dame Riley Leonard did it, but they didn't have Jeremiah Love.
Well, they didn't, and they couldn't
dreams of being Sam Ellinger.
You do that to try to clear people out of the box, and then you have advantages to run the ball. OU would do that, and then they just still couldn't block Alabama's dudes. And Alabama was not Georgia up front last year on the defensive line.
Guess how many pressures Alabama had in that game, Ian?
How many pressures?
Yeah.
22.
21 with 3 sacks allowed. Fasusi had 2 sacks allowed and a pressure. Simmons had 2 pressures allowed and sack. Foj was not very good at right guard. Yeah, that was a rough blocking game for them.
Yeah, they're going to be better on offense by probably a lot. That doesn't mean they're going to be that good.
They can't be a lot worse.
Yeah, they were garbage last year.
And it's crazy because I feel like Venables is attaching his early career to this guy. And so, hey, I saw some pictures where he's been working out. So maybe he can muscle a pass or something. I don't know.
I don't think they let Venables make decisions about quarterbacks anymore.
They don't make Venables make decisions about anything other than the defensive calls.
Yeah.
I mean, the additions on the offense are very – the additions on offense are very Nagy style, right? It's a Colorado State running back who was kind of under not a ton of reps. It's a Virginia wide receiver. It's Parker Livingston. It's all these FCS guys. Very, very Nagy.
Blake Bryant says, you say they can't be worse, but they don't have depth and are a few injuries away from disaster.
Isn't anybody, a lot of people like that?
That's a lot of people now. I think Oklahoma's that you could easily see their season getting derailed by injuries. There's multiple spots where they could be derailed. Defensive tackle, actually, last year Oklahoma had like 4 or 5 like NFL caliber defensive tackles, and then they lost 2 or 3 of them.
Halton's gone.
Demonic's gone. And
is Jackson still there?
They still have Jackson and Stone.
Jackson's
Stone. There's one more guy.
Awesome.
Jackson's really good.
If they lose one of those guys, it gets a little dicier. As long as they have at least one of them, though, they're going to be.
I remember Jaden Jackson's recruitment. Texas really wanted that kid.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the. There's another comment I wanted to bring up. Satania is pretty good, but
he gets a lot of targets.
Kind of one-dimensional player.
Didn't Manny Muhammad have his number in the game last year?
He had a few plays where he got through some busted coverage, if I remember correctly.
They got Alabama shut him down. That was the other.
He's one of those guys. He's Ryan Nunez. Okay, he's one of those guys. If you pay attention to him, he's not going to burn you. If you're not paying attention to you, he's going to sneak around and score on you.
I think that's close to right. I think that's maybe a little too dismissive, but yeah, I think that's basically. He's super fast.
That's fair.
He's super.
I like that.
They added a 5th-year D-line from Georgia State, so they have a little bit of depth there, but it's nothing.
Do they?
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
you just yelled Oklahoma has 0 defensive tackle depth.
and
I don't
George
think the fifth-year guy from Georgia State who was available at the last minute is a cream of the crop SEC defensive tackle.
Yeah, I mean they've got linebacker depth. They have some good players in the DB room, but you're right. I mean that's kind of the position, that and wide receiver, the positions where it could go really wrong with a player going down.
Yep.
LSU's D-line, someone was asking about. That's what I was trying to find. It doesn't sound like they're going to get Xavier Harris after all that's gone on, and that would have been a huge addition. They might be starting 1 or 2 true freshmen on this year's team. That's kind of the big question mark for LSU, but I think we're talking about some of the big games for Texas. How do you feel about that group?
For LSU?
Yeah.
It's the biggest reason I think they would not win the title this year.
Yeah.
Is that their 2 best defensive tackles are apparently freshmen.
Yeah, I think they got one guy from Auburn who was passable last year, but
Malik Blockton.
Yeah, it's like Deuce Geralds and Lamar Brown are expected to be like, if not the 1 and 2, then the 2 and 3.
And Lamar Brown's not even a real defensive tackle.
He's kind of a big
Lamar
athlete.
Brown is a phenomenal athlete that played both sides of the ball.
Mm.
Well, that's another team who's like their O-line. Every team in the SEC is like this, but the O-line is just like, oof. Outside of Seton and they like Braylon Moore, their center, but kind of a lot of questions after that.
I think they'll figure that out.
Listen,
Yeah, I mean they threw a lot of options at it.
Yeah. They also Kiffin is always they just drill inside zone till the cows come home and they figure it out.
And that's what you got to love about LSU. We cannot ignore the elephant in the room. You've got Lane Kiffin recruiting off NFL rosters. And if you'll let him field a fully NFL team, he will. You've got Mulkey starting a new Ukrainian-Russia war about how she handled those 2 players.
Will Wade wants every NBA player.
I don't know anything about what you just said. Can we?
Will Wade is recruiting.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up.
Will Wade is recruiting the Brooklyn Nets backup point guard. You don't know what Mulkey did? Oh,
this is crazy.
I don't follow women's college basketball, I'll be honest.
I don't either. But anytime Kim Mulkey and Skeletor is involved, read this, Ian. This is crazy. She lost a Ukrainian player because her dad is in the army fighting against Russia. She kicked her out.
To help end the war between the 2 countries.
So when I said at the beginning of this show, LSU is trying to single-handedly kill college athletics, the third comment was, are we being a little too dramatic? We're not being dramatic enough, y'all.
What's so crazy to me about LSU is you just spent that money on Kiffin. Will Wade is one of those college basketball coaches that commands a pretty high payroll. Kim Mulkey wants to have a top 5 unit in women's college basketball. And then Jay Johnson, I mean, they pay players like crazy out of college baseball. They're the only team that pays like they do. I mean, they have 4 different programs that expect to be top 5 to 10 in payroll every single year. And it's like, where is this money coming from? And is the money getting paid out correctly? Is kind of the big question.
This story is so funny. It's like she thought it was like Remember the Titans. It's like if we could just get in the same room and sit together at the lunch table, we could figure this out.
Yeah, and Peace Train by Cat Stevens was playing in the background.
Yeah. It's like, no, they're like shooting at each other right now.
She's Skeletor, man. Oh, my God. I'm just telling you.
It's one of the funniest headlines I'd read in a while. And then let's see if the Will Wade is the RJ Lewis graphic. Well, there's this from Vanini. That's pretty funny. Because they didn't vote in favor. Now it seems like they are voting in favor of all this stuff, which
I think
they're corporate number 1.
You may see an inter-conference lawsuit coming.
Because there was one vote where it was 15-0 and LSU abstained, and then now I think in the pro player specific one, it seems like LSU is voting against their own tactics. Because the LSU's basketball roster,
they don't have a choice, Evan.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if it still is the same way. LSU's basketball roster a while ago was like 4 players. It still is 4 players. This is the LSU basketball roster.
Wow.
Austin Nunez. I remember him. Isn't he a San Antonio kid? He was a lefty from Austin, Central Texas, San Antonio.
Yeah,
that kid can ball. Now he's small.
That kid is not eligible, I don't think.
I was about to say he's small, but I remember watching Nunez. He could ball.
Damon Stoudemire's on their roster. Yeah, this is the entire LSU starting roster, and we play basketball in
I can't believe I recognized that guy.
60 days, 70 days, because they're trying to get R.J. Lewis and a bunch of these foreign players who can't quite play yet because they need waivers or whatever it is. I mean,
hey,
what an organization they've got going on.
They're waiting for the NBA camps to like cut people.
Yeah, I mean that's literally what happened with R.J. Lewis. Is he wasn't good enough in the NBA, and they were like, "Well, you were the Big East Player of the Year. Sounds like you're good enough to still play college basketball." Yeah, pretty crazy times. Any other topics you guys have been interested in? We always get to this point with 50 minutes in where we're like, anyone got anything to talk about? Yeah, we're in the Gilded Age. That's a good one.
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm just ready for football. We're Dakari Pearson days away from Texas football. Where was Dakari Pearson from? Ian, Evan.
You think I know? Houston. Ukraine.
He was you got to look up Dakari. Dakari was a fun safety to watch. I believe he took over for Nathan Vasher started at safety. Yeah. Vasher went to corner, and then Pearson took over. He had a couple big picks in the Arkansas game in 2003. He had some big games against Kansas State. He's one of Eric's favorite players, one of the first guys that he had followed in recruiting.
Oh, so is he from Houston area?
This is the worst part. I completely forgot. But it's like New Caney or Camden Corrigan. That was Foreman. That was Eric Foreman. Damn. It was Belleville. It was down in that area. Dayton. That's it. Dayton. I knew I was in the right area. But when I was asking that to my, out loud, I completely forgot for a second where he's from. Now I remember. I actually watched Dayton play Kilgore whenever he was there.
We got
old days.
Which high school football game are you going to this week, Justin?
I am going to watch Atlanta versus Ashdown, Arkansas. I'm going to go find out if CJ Whaley is a offensive player or if he's a defensive player. I think he's probably both, but Texas, I think, views him as a tight end offensive weapon. But my goodness, on the edge, he's on the edge for 6 plays and he hits the quarterback 6 times. Like, that's why he's the number 2, number 3 rated athlete in the country. I'm going to go check him out. Texas loves him. Chris Whaley Jr.
Tomorrow,
I'm glad it's in Atlanta because I was talking to the coach last night and he said, "Hey, man, we're going to Ashdown." I go, "Where's that?" And he goes, "Arkansas." I was like, "Yeah, I might have to catch on in a couple of weeks." He says, No. We got him at home this year. I said, "Okay."
Tomorrow night, the new Liberty Hill High School opens the new stadium in the first varsity game against Manor New Tech. So I'm going to go to that.
Nice.
I assume they scheduled that for a nice opening win. I don't know much about Manor New Tech, but
I didn't know Manor had 2 high schools in that town.
I know, right?
That's damn. And Manor's had some players come through there in the last few years. Taj Brooks, the Umanele brothers. Like they've had some dudes.
They're from Manor.
Eric Fowler. Remember Eric Fowler?
Oh, Eric Fowler. Good. Yeah, like I'm telling you.
He's going to be good.
Yeah, he was part of that 16 group. Yeah, he was. Anyways.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us on the Inside Texas Live, presented by Inside Texas and Academy Sports and Outdoors. Shout out to them for sponsoring this live. Make sure you're going over to Inside Texas. For those who have not seen it, 75% off the fall camp sale. Getting close to football season, so make sure if you want to subscribe to Inside Texas, you are doing it right now. 75% off for new members. Check out Paul Wildington's book, Thinking Texas Football. Took a second to come up. 2026 Longhorn Football Prospectus. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to all the 527 eyeballs who were here to the very end talking about most random stuff in college football world, but we also did talk a lot about tight ends. Ian, Justin, thank you for joining as always, and we will see you guys next time on the Inside Texas YouTube channel powered by Inside Texas.